typical real estate professional today has 3 bursts of big income. And normally their year, if you analyzed it like a stock on the stock market, it would look like this. I'm poor, I'm rich. I'm poor, I'm rich. I'm poor, I'm rich, and I'm poor. 3 times a year, they do all the business. They get into the game, they start doing their lead generation, they close out a couple transactions. What we want to do is have your business look more like that. So in your notes, when we say maintaining a new level of performance, write down below that systems, checklists, accountability, structure, to keep these new programs in place. So it's not just try it this week and forget about it the next week. It's not that we learned it on this video session today and I'm going to forget about it next week. We want to build on every single week these new lead generation strategies. They're going to cause your business to have that kind of breakthrough. The last one, number 4, write down, we're going to learn, again, the unfair advantage you have as a RE/MAX agent. I want to exploit all the opportunities. So I'm going to continually reference Lead Street, talking about, hey, go to Design Center, let's create this. Everything that you need is available, and I want you to become more comfortable with it. What do we know? It's very typical when you get involved in any new software solution. Most people will say, hey, I've got Outlook, Microsoft's world-famous Outlook, and most people use 5 to 10% of it. They schedule and they put people on calendars, but they don't use the follow-ups. They don't, take advantage of the robust 80, 90% that's there. And we've seen the same thing amongst some RE/MAX agents. You've got everything you need there to build your business and do it by design. I just want you to do more of it during your time in Sales Power. Now, let's shift gears. I've been talking about promises and things you're going to do. Now, I want to talk to you about your mindset and what you focus on. I can remember taking on a client that found herself, like many people, struggling in real estate. She actually lived in Detroit, and unfortunately, she got a divorce. And she looked at her 2 adult boys and said, well, we're in Detroit, we want to leave. Do we want to go to Florida or California? And they kind of did an eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and guess what? They ended up deciding to go to California. When they decided to go to California, because they had never been there before and didn't know much about it, they said, well, we might as well live close to the ocean, right? That sounds like a good idea. And they kind of did this, up and down the coast, hit one, looked down and went La Jolla, which would be La Jolla, California. But, from Detroit, La Jolla, all right, let's go. They did their research, and you know what? They packed it up, and she moved to La Jolla. And guess what? In her first year, she sold a house. The condo that she bought, right? Got to make that first sale though. In her next year, she did 3 transactions. And when I met her, she was just finishing her 3rd year and she was on pace to do about 11 transactions. And when I talked to her, I happened to be working in an office in La Jolla, talking to a bunch of my coaching clients, kind of at 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, 9:30. So occasionally I just drive down and see them face to face and find out what they were up to and watch and observe their performance. And then as I was walking out, the manager of the office said, hey, could you meet this gal real fast? And I said, I'd be honored. I shook her hand and, introduced myself, and she introduced herself. And I said, so, where you're from? Because I heard a little bit of an accent. She said, I'm originally from Detroit. I said, how long you been in San Diego? Been here for a couple of years. How's your business? And she looked at me and she went, I'm tired and it's hard and it's a grind. And I said, well, that's not the way the business is supposed to be. But clearly you can hear by that, she wasn't running it by design. I asked her this question because she said, you coach all these great agents in my office, like the top 5 agents in San Diego at the time, 4 of them working in that same office. That's competitive, right or wrong, guys? So I'm working with all of them. She says, could you spend some time with me? And I said, I'm not looking for another client right now, but I can help you with something. She said, yeah. I said, grab your notepad. And we wrote out this circle, and you could see right there inside your workbook the same thing I showed that gal that day. If you look at your notes, I said the human mind could only focus on one thing at a time. And I asked her, what's taking up your mind space? You know what she said? Buyers, and they're frustrating. I said, if what you're thinking about all the time is buyers and they're frustrating, are you thinking about solutions to help them buy more houses and how to make your business easier? We know the answer is no. I said, you, my dear, are caught up in the farthest circle, which is drama. Drama. Now, can you have a lot of drama in your life and be highly successful? Most people would say no, because drama is an addiction that people get consumed by. Who's sleeping with who? Is Brad and Angelina gonna make it? I mean, you know those kind of people? I hope you're not one of them, right? You don't get the National Enquirer sent to you, do you? If you do, you know how bad this can be, because guess what, my friends? As you can imagine, what is the goal? We want to hit the bullseye every day with our focus and in our business. So I said to her, drama could be an issue. Then if you look down the list, I said another thing that we see people that suffer from is they suffer because they're focusing on incomplete projects. How many of you watching this right now have a whole bunch of incomplete projects? Your website isn't finished, you haven't done your brochures, you haven't taken new photos in a while, you're thinking about organizing your desk, you want a whole new filing system, and oh, by the way, I want to learn to understand Main Street. So we're always consumed by incomplete projects. But let me ask you, how much business are you doing when all you're thinking about and all you're focusing on is all the incomplete projects? Real estate can be like a black hole. It could suck you in and you vanish. And you could spend all your time just working on projects and never meet with buyers and sellers. Do you know some agents like that? Are they sitting in your chair right now? I hope not. If they are, I'm really glad we're having this message. The next one I said to her was, look, it's about contacts. I said, people get hung up in real estate. Even though I just shared with you, 129 conversations, 80.2 conversations, I didn't say to you, focus on contacts. I just shared a benchmark number. Some people in real estate, they go from drama to incomplete to finally realizing, man, I got to do an open house. I got to talk to some people. I got to send a mail around. I got to do an email campaign. I got to run an ad. Maybe I do a bunch patch. All they're thinking is, I got to get some people to call me, or I got to call them. But here's the challenge, my friends. How many of you know at least one person that makes a lot of contacts but never sells any houses? I took on a client named Matthew from Long Island, New York, right? One of my very first personal coaching clients, what feels like 100 years ago. And I asked Matthew on our first coaching session, tell me about your business, where does it come from? And I kid you not, he slammed his hand on his chest and he said, I knock on 100 doors a day. And I said, you knock on 100 doors a day? I said, in the summer? And he said, yeah, in the summer. I said, in the winter? He said, even in the winter. And I said, why? Why do you knock on 100 doors a day? You know what he said to me? I saw this other guy in Los Angeles. He knocks 100 doors a day, so I'm going to do the same. And I said, listen, my friend, his business is different from your business. His personality, his style, his market, everything is different. You got to know yourself and you got to know your market and then make the right offer in terms of lead generation. He said, I don't get that. I said, that's why we're working together. Well, guess what? Here's what I discovered in his 100 door knocks a day. He was going out and doing this in his mind. Check 1, check 2, check 3. So I talked to you, no. I talked to you, no. Hey, you ever thought about selling? No. You ever thought about selling? No, 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 no. Because in his mind, he thought, I just got to get through the 100. Well, guess what? He knocked on 100 doors a day and sold 27 homes. 100 doors a day and only sold 27 homes. I said, my goodness, based on my numbers, if you were doing this right, you'd be selling 150 homes a year. I said, here's what I'm sensing. What you focus on, what's taking up your mind space is getting to 100, not making a connection with the client to find out if they have some problems or issues or questions that you could be of service of. It's a very different mindset, my friend. Well, guess what? The next year, oh, by the way, got to tell you, I get on the phone with his wife and I say, hey, you help him in the business. Tell me where the business comes from. The 27 transactions. Would it shock you to hear that 18 of them came from his past clients, Sphere, repeat and referral? She proudly did 4 or 5 from open houses, and the rest came from door knocking. When I told him this, he said, yeah, but look at me, I'm in great shape. I said, so you're knocking on doors to get in better shape. You can just go to the gym for that instead. It's a simple illustration of how often people get focused on the wrong thing and they do it over and over again, not really thinking about what really should I be focusing on. I went on to say to Iris, the next thing that I see is people get caught up in the leads game. You guys ever done this before? Let's do it, be honest. I talk to agents all the time. You ever have that one great lead? You guys know what I mean? Like the lead that will solve all of your financial problems. The investor that you just met, that all of a sudden you're walking around and you're holding your lead and you're kissing your lead because this lead is going to make everything in your life better. What happens when you put all your eggs in one basket? What happens when you give one client that much energy? What always happens? They go away, they buy from somebody else, they flake out. I said, if you're focusing on your leads, I said, you can't call your banker and say, hey, this month I'm just going to send you my leads instead of a check for my mortgage, right? That's not going to work. Leads, my friends, write this down. Leads have no value. Leads have no value. They are only possibility. Leads have no value. They're only possibility. What has value, my friends, is the next inner circle that I shared with her, and that is appointments. Appointments. So what I said to her was, how many appointments do you go on in a normal month? And guess what? She kind of did one of these, like 4. I probably go on 4. She said, now does it count if I've shown the same buyer 4,700 homes? Do those count? I said, well, every time you're out with a buyer, technically, yes, that is an appointment, but I'm referring to how many new appointments do you go on? How many new clients are you meeting with? She said, maybe 2 or 3 a month. Maybe 2 or 3 a month? Well, could you imagine trying to build a highly productive, high-powered sales business, only meeting with 2 to 3 people a month? But when I asked her, what do you focus on? Guess what she said? She said, most of the time, I'm wrapped up in the drama. I'm still new to this area. I don't know a lot of people. I want to find a date. I got to do all this stuff. And guess what, my friends? As a life coach, as a strategist, I get it all. What she wanted was a breakthrough in her business. And what I said to her is the same thing I'm saying to you. I want you to begin to focus on appointments, 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 appointments. I want you thinking 1 appointment a day. And as I've said to you before, even a lousy appointment is better than no appointments. I'd rather you be sitting at Starbucks for 15 or 20 minutes, having a conversation with somebody, answering their questions about real estate, talking about investing, finding out what their goals, needs, wants, and desires are, and having that conversation. And by the way, if you have it in a public place and you're wearing your name badge and that person leaves, there's a pretty good chance other people heard that conversation, right or wrong. And might they just walk over and prospect you? What do you guys think? Stop being a secret agent. 200 plus appointments a year, and you're going to win. Now,